Hello, so we're moving on now to the second part of level 2/3. Baxter's joining us because the husband and child have gone to the park on their bicycles, and this guy unfortunately cannot be on his own since all this has happened. He just howls. So rather than me trying to teach with the music of a howling dog that you would have heard, I've brought him upstairs with us, so we'll see how we get on. I don't know how he's going to behave. He's still only 9 months. So we are going to get into the tightrope first. So tightrope, I'm going to go to a side. We're taking our feet and we're taking 1 foot. I know I'm cheating. I put my hand against the wall. Taking 1 foot in front of the other. Now, if having our feet in front of one another is too close, we feel too unstable, of course, we can take a little bit between and have a little bit of space between the 2 points. Or we could even have it slightly out to the side. Now, what I want you to take a moment to recognise is have a look down at your feet. Make sure that this back foot is not really rotating out, okay? So if you've naturally got a turn out on your feet, if it's a little bit turned out and that is your natural position, then that's fine. But what I want you to make sure is that it's not accidentally turning out to the side. So we have our feet in position, tailbone is tucked under. Remember that elevator I mentioned? So we've got level 1, level 2, and up to the 3rd floor, pulling everything up. We're drawing that belly button in towards the spine, our core is nice and strong, our shoulder blades are back and down. Now we can have our hands across our chest, resting on the shoulders. We could even have them on our hips, or if you want to challenge our balance further, we can make ourselves a bigger lever by having our arms up above the head. So I've still got my broken toe, so I'm going to go for hands across the chest. Now I'm going to take a deep breath in through my nose. As I exhale, I'm going to bend into my front knee, hinge slightly at the hips. This back knee, as if someone's just tickling into that knee, is going to bend ever so slightly. I'm going to hold for a moment as I release the breath, and then I'm going to bring it back. So I breathe in, breathe out. Hold for a count of 4 at the front, and then bring it back. So obviously, hopefully, you won't be wobbling as much as me, but remember, we can always push our tongue to the roof of the mouth to help with our balance and stability. Then bringing it back, and again. Let's have 3 more of these. So you breathe out when you come to that front point, when you're hinging. And this is all about hip stability, okay? So really fantastic exercise to be doing. Make sure you've got that pelvic and abdominal connection going on, and then bringing it back. And then again, let's go. And then this time, let's take it forward. Let's hold it here. Hold it here. Hold it here. Holding, and then release. Bring it back. Now, bringing my feet to hip distance apart. Now remember, I can use my thumb and little finger, in fact I'm going to turn to face you, to just check that they're hip distance apart. Bring my hands to my hips, tailbone tucked under, core's nice and engaged, shoulder blades are in my back pocket. I've got that nice beef tomato under my chin. I'm going to lift one leg up, and we're going to do single leg squats. You can do this with the big toe on the floor or floating behind you. It could be anywhere behind you, in between sort of like knee height and down on the mat. We take a deep breath, bending, coming down into that single leg squat, and then lifting up. So we come down and up, down and up. So we're breathing in, breathing out. Now, if you've got that leg, even if you're resting on your toe, you are working on your balance at the same time. Backs. Sorry, that's just he's just doing his little jaunt, having a look around, seeing if there's anything he can chew or pick up mischievously. So let's hold this last one and hold it. So again, toe could be on the floor or floating behind, core's engaged, nice and strong. Lateral breath, feeling the ribs contract and expand. Take a deep breath. exhale, release. Give it a little shake, little shake. Let's do the tandem on the other side. So, feet, one foot in front of the other. Remember, we can have a little bit of space, be a little bit out to the side. Just make sure the feet are turning out. So, tailbone under, core nice and strong and stable, shoulder blades back and down, hands on the hips, across the chest, or we can make that bigger leverage, making it more challenging. So we take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we come forward. Hinging that back knee as if someone's just tickling slightly. Mainly the weight's coming into the front of that thigh and then back. So breathing in, breathing out. Without losing your balance, hopefully, like me. Still struggling with my toe a little bit. It's getting there, it's almost there. So remember, when we bring it forward, we're taking it forward and we're holding for 4 seconds. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can close your eyes as you're doing this movement. It's going to make it more challenging again because you're going to lose your spatial awareness. And then bringing it back. Let's have 2 more of these. Remember, we can push our tongue to the roof of the mouth to help with our balance and stability. And last one. Hold it here. Let's hold it here for a few moments. Just for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And gently bring it back. Now, single leg squats again. Hands on the hips. Let's check. We want our feet hip distance apart. I can use my thumb and little finger to see those little toes are sitting in between those 2 points. Shoulder blades back and down. Big toe resting on the floor. Try not to wobble. Or leg floating behind. Let's take a deep breath. And inhale as you come down, exhale on the way up. So floating or having that big toe on the floor. Remember, again, even though we're working single leg squats and there's a lot of work going on into the thighs, the glutes, the core, we're working on balance and stability with this as well. So strengthening the ankle, the knee. But if we're struggling with our balance, we can always have a chair on hand, or we can push our tongue to the roof of the mouth. That's going to help with our balance. You may find just putting your hands out to the side allows you to feel more stable. So breathing in, breathing out. Four more. Last one. And relax. Give it a shake. And let's just sassy walk it out. So feet hip distance apart. Let the hips sway, let the arms swing. Let there be a little bit of freedom in the movement of the hips and pelvis here. As when we walk naturally, there is that freedom. It's not completely fixed in place. And relax. So we're going to grab our dumbbells, tin cans, water bottles, or your band, or use nothing for this next exercise. We're still working legs. Bend your knees if you're grabbing anything from the floor, and very gently take your legs nice and wide. So wider than hip distance apart, feet turn out to the corners of the room. So we are doing a plie squat here, hands into the middle. So again, if you've got shoulder issues, you do not have to do this. Tailbone is tucked under, you can leave the arms out. But we're going to come down, lifting the arms into second position, and then up. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So nice and steady with that pelvic lift. Remember that lift. You're an elevator in your pelvic floor. First floor, second floor, third floor. Abdominal connection going on. 4 more. Last 3. And 2. And this time let's just stay down at the bottom for a moment. Just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Arms down, legs up, walk it in. Keeping a hold of your weights. Remember, you don't have to have them, or dumbbells. Feet hip distance apart. Remember, we can always check thumb, little finger. Those little toes want to sit in between those 2 points. Elbows in tight to the side. I'm just moving to the side. I've got a nice 90-degree angle. We don't want floppy wrist and we don't want cocky wrist. So cocky wrist is we're flipping and rotating the wrist over. Floppy is dropping it down. So just nice and steady, holding it in place. So let us rotate out to the side. Elbows are staying in and bringing it back. Breathing in, breathing out. And this is really nice for opening up the shoulders, the chest. So if you find you're quite rounded in the shoulders, this is a great exercise just to be opening everything up. Nice and steady. You're right there, Baxter? Yeah? You're just sitting away from the camera looking a bit fed up. It's a bit warm up here. But you've not got a four-year-old jumping on you, Baxter. He's constantly hugging him and lifting him up. She's gone for a bicycle ride without you. So nice and steady. Sorry, do my childlike talking to the dog. I apologise. So last 4, last 3, last 2, and last 1. And now this time we're going to bring that down, roll the shoulders just 3 times back and 3 times forward. We're going to do what we call a reverse hug. So nice and steady. Oh, I miss the days of hugging people. So what I want you to do with this one is I want you to split your stance. So take 1 foot behind and 1 foot in front. And they're both facing forward. The back foot may turn out just slightly. That's absolutely fine. So knees bent. I want you to hinge from your hips. So let me just take this to a side angle. So I'm hinging from my hip. My tailbone is under. My pelvic floor is engaged, lifted up, and my abdominal belt's in place. I bring my hands in front, and again, we don't have to have weights, and I'm lifting up and bringing it down. So I lift up and down, lift up and down. So I'm breathing in, exhale, inhale, exhale, so drawing those shoulder blades back and down as I do this. 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1 for me. And then bring it up, roll it back, roll it forward. We're moving down onto the floor, but even when we're on the floor, we're going to be using the weights to a certain degree. So pop them somewhere nearby. Make sure to bend your knees as you pop them down. Coming to the end of your mat, feet hip distance apart, remember your gauge. Let's inhale up. And as you exhale, bend your knees, hands to the thighs. We take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hands come down onto all 4s. So we want our hands beneath the shoulders. So what we want is wrist, elbow, shoulder. Elbow slightly soft, so as if someone's just tickling the inside of your elbow. Knees, 90 degree, knee, hip. Shoelaces to the floor. Eyes and nose are looking down, not in front or under, looking down. So nice and steady. All we're going to do is we've got that pelvic lift, abdominal belt in place, push the tailbone to the back of the room, draw the shoulder blades slightly together, and then all I want you to do is begin to tuck the tailbone under and then lift the tailbone up. So tuck under and lift. Tuck under and lift. So again, just like we mentioned at the beginning, we're getting that synovial fluid lift, build up there in the lower back. Nice and steady, controlled. Nice and steady. So let's have 2 more. and then bring it back. Now this time, tuck your toes under, take your hands slightly out in front. So we are alternating it, we're here into a down dog. So this is a pose from yoga, but we can use it in Pilates as well. It's going to give everything a little stretch out. So hands just slightly in front, fingers spread out, remembering that we want a nice C shape, so that palm of the hand, that C shape there, in place. Toes tucked under, let's take a deep breath. As you exhale, let's push up, head comes down, pushing the heels towards the floor, doesn't matter if they're not down at the floor, remember. Bum nice and proud, up in the air, feet can be hip distance or a little bit wider apart, and we're just looking through the body. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to come back down, hands come beneath, and we're going to go pointer dog. So opposite arm and leg lift up, bring it down, other side comes up, a little bit of a flowing sequence here, then down, toes tuck under, hands come just out in front, push up to down dog. We get a stretch, but it's also a strength activating exercise as well. So even though this posture is stretching, it's activating lots of muscle groups as well. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, come down onto your knees, hands come back under the shoulder, make sure that tailbone's to the back of the room, shoelaces down, shoulder blades together, extend the arm and leg, all level, hips stay level, shoulders stay level, coming back to the exact same point. Opposite side, come out, bring it back, walk them out in front, toes tucked under, push up to down dog again. Head down, nice and strong. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come back down onto all fours. Hands come under the shoulder. This is good because it's getting you to be conscious of where your hands sit. Shoelaces to the floor, pointer dog, and hold this time. So just taking it out, we're just holding it in that place, nice and strong. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bring it down, other side. Take it across, lift and hold. Hold it. Nice and strong. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, bring it back. Take it down. Last time, down dog, hands in front, toes tuck under, head down, feet hip distance are a little bit wider apart. Push your bum up, be proud, let the shoulder blades draw together. Heels towards the floor. Nice and steady, breathing deep. Take a deep breath. Exhale, come down onto the knees. Hands under the shoulders. Walk the knees as wide as the hips. A little bit wider than the hips, should I say. Big toes come together. Remember, if you have hip or knee issues going on, we can keep the knees and the feet facing forward. Just come back into child's pose. So taking the bum down towards the heels. I'm going to take my foot with the broken toe, just rest it onto the back of that heel because it eases it for me. I'm not putting any pressure or weight into it. Let the head relax between the arms and let's just have a moment here in shell. We're tucking the tailbone under, our core's engaged and we're nice and strong, and let's just hold it there for a moment. Hold it there for a moment. So a lot of work into the wrist there. Working on core stability, balance, strength, lots going on. And also stretching with that down dog, but the down dog, although it's a stretch, it's also strength as well. So very gently, just turn your forearms over and then just let your hands come into a fist and then back. Into a fist and back. Into a fist and back. Then just roll them one way and roll them the other. Gently come up onto all fours. Nice and steady. I'd like you to take either your block, if you've got one, or your hardback book. So all we're going to do is pop it down in front. We're going to come onto that. Now you can do this without the block as well. So if you don't have a block or a hardback book, that's fine. I make the same mistake every week when I do these sessions. I always have my lunch and then do the filming and then I'm feeling like I regret it all the way through. So shoelaces to the floor, shoulder blades back and down, hands across the chest. Take a deep breath, come back just by 30 degrees and then forward. Now we can, if we so wish, have our toes tucked under, and then you're getting a stretch into the toes as well as the strength of the exercise. Nice and steady. I prefer at the moment, my toes just a bit. It's 4 weeks since I broke it. I accidentally kicked a chair this morning with it, as you do. So nice and steady, back and forth. Baxter, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Nice and steady. Control. So we're going to do 2 more, and I want you to just hold that last one. Hold it there. So just holding it here. Core is engaged, feeling the thighs working, and then relax. Come back. And I'm just going to turn to face you so you can stay where you are. I'm still on my block, and I'm taking my dumbbells, my Heinz beans, any other type of beans is fine. Okay, and this time all I'm going to do is, as I come back, I'm going to lift in front. So exactly the same move, but I come back and then forwards. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So just 4 more of these. Last 2. Last one for me. And actually, let's do one more. Just hold for a moment. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Turn the palms forward, bicep curls. So we're bringing them all the way up to the chest again. Make sure you don't get cocky wrist or floppy wrist. Those wrists shouldn't be rotating. It's just nice and steady, down and up. Inhaling, exhaling. And so the biceps, just the front of the arm, nice and steady. Controlled. Breathing in, breathing out. So last 2. Last one. And relax. Bend the knees. Pop those down. Remove that block out from underneath. We're coming over onto our fronts. So when we're coming over onto our front, it's optional as to whether you have the cushion or the block underneath your head. So I'm going to put my hands just on top of one another underneath and rest my forehead on. My feet are hip distance apart and my shoelaces are to the floor. My core is engaged. I'm pulling that pelvic floor. Remember our elevator today. First floor, second floor, third floor, all lifting. Drawing that belly button in towards the spine, so there's tension and contraction. So all we're going to do is I want you to turn your heels in. Your knees rotate out, so take the knees a little bit wider than hip distance. Lower the feet as far as feels right, and then we're just going to bring the heels. We're trying to tap them together, but we don't really want them to tap, okay? So just tapping together, working into the glutes. So nice and steady, controlled. So you'll feel it in the glutes, you should feel it in the inner thighs going on as well. So your legs are kind of like a frog pair of legs. It's the best way to describe it. Both slightly bent, knees slightly turned out, and we're trying to bang the heels together, but they're not quite coming together. So nice and steady, breathing in, breathing out. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, take them down. Now again, you may want your cushion or block in front of you at this point. We're extending our arms straight out. So head could be resting on the mat, but if you feel you need a cushion or a lift, then just please grab one. So all we're going to do is lift one arm and the head and neck, bring it down. Lift the opposite and down. And lift and down. So I always find these a bit uncomfortable because I have a bit of a floating rib that, well, I have a rib that pops every time I do lifts. So anything where I'm on my front, generally lifting my upper body, I get little pops, it's uncomfortable. So we want to be looking down, eyes and nose are looking to the floor. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm keeping both feet on the floor. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So let's have two more. Last one. And relax. Bring your hands in. Let your head rotate to one side. Let it just rest there for a moment. And then let the head rotate to the other side. Rest there for a moment. And then very gently we're coming over onto our side and we're going into that side leg series. So it's up to you now whether you need a cushion and a block or just a cushion, or you may not need either. So remember, we're working the legs. So we can either lay with our arm long and have a cushion on. We could just have our head on the arm, but what you want to be checking out for is that your head's not dropping onto the arm, because then you're going to get an overextension into the side of the neck. If you've got any shoulder issues, then you want it so that you have the cushion and block like so, shoulders on top of one another, hips on top of one another, chest pulling back and open, core engaged, knees on top, ankles on top, feet on top. So one hand firmly pressing to the floor or on the hip, or if you want to make it extra challenging, up top. So I'm going to put my hand on the front. I want you to pull up, pull in, and imagine someone's pulling this top leg and they're trying to pull it away. So it's almost like it's becoming longer than the bottom leg. Getting that hollowing out underneath. So as if we could just slip a nice thin piece of paper, bit of tracing paper underneath. So now we've done that, we should have our ankles, our knees, our hips, our shoulders all stacked. We're going to lift up the top leg and then lift up the bottom leg. All we're going to do is slice the legs through the air. So neither leg goes down to the floor as we're slicing, they're up, we're keeping that stability. We want to be conscious we're not rolling forward into the hip or rolling back, staying nice and central. Eyes looking forward. And we're just going through the midline of the body. So just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, hold. So if you're just mid-stride, and then the other one, slice it back, mid-stride, hold. And then very gently take a deep breath, exhale, bring it in, bring both down. Again, we're still as if that top leg is being pulled away, hand on the floor, hip or up above or resting on the thigh. This time, lift up, just hip height, and it's going to slice on its own. So it comes to the middle and forward. So as if we've got an extension kind of going on, we're just lifting and bringing it back. So it goes forward, comes back into that natural plane. Forward and back. Nice and steady. Last 4. Control, keep the hips stacked. Keep that pelvic floor engaged. 3, 2, last 1. Bring it back, bring it down. Bend both knees. Give it a little pat. Now we're going to move over onto our backs and into imprints. You can just roll where you are. I'm just going to change direction, so I'm looking towards the camera because I feel if I turn on my back here, I'm going to be looking away from the camera. So, as you come into imprints, remember you can have a cushion underneath your head. Just roll onto your side and onto your back. You're already on your side, so you should be able to just roll over. Have your weights, if you're using them, nearby, okay? Excuse me. So, if you've come up and you've not got any lower back issues, we can place our hands underneath our thighs, core engaged, we can roll down, and then hold it there. Feet hip distance apart. So remember, if you're not sure about hip distance apart, once you come down onto the floor, knees and feet together, turn the feet out like penguins, heels out, you've got your hip distance. Hands just resting on the floor. We want our eyes looking up towards the ceiling, and remember, if we are looking behind, we need to nod the chin. If we're looking in front, we need to lift the chin. So core is strong and engaged. Nice and steady, hold it there. So all I want you to do is begin to lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. As you lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, you're imprinting your lower back. You're then imprinting your mid back. Then you're imprinting your upper back. Then release the upper, the mid, the lower. So we imprint, imprint, imprint. Release, release, release. So it's a fluid, sequential movement. We're pulling that pelvic floor, that abdominal belt, all nice and steady, controlled. So nice and steady. I'm sorry if you can hear the noise. I don't know what's going on outside. It sounds like someone's cutting the grass verges or something. Very noisy. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. Nice and steady. Just rocking backwards and forwards. I know I say it every class, but I do love imprints. They're just so soothing on the body. It's effective, but it feels soothing as well. If you've got lower backache, just lay on the floor and do imprints. They just give you so much relief. So last 3, last 2, and last 1. Then come to neutral position. Take your little weights, if you have any. We're going to be working the chest. Just move that to the side. And I need to just shift a little bit across my mat so I don't knock into the wall. So, let's move on. So, taking both arms, and my palms are facing in towards one another. All I'm going to do, arms are just in front of the chest, and then I'm just going to take them out to the side. One's going to finger across the wall, no further than the shoulders and back. So I'm breathing in, breathing out. So kind of ignore this arm, just ignore what it's doing because it's kind of trailing along the wall because I haven't got enough space there. So nice and steady, controlled. So I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice and steady. Four more. So working into the chest, making sure that as you go through that range of movement, if you go too far, your ribs cage is going to start lifting, your back's going to start arching. We don't want that. So you make that range as far as you can go with keeping that control in the rib cage, in the abdomen. Last 2. And last 1. And then bring it back. From here, so the palms are still facing in together, shoulder width apart. What we want to do is, so obviously you don't have to rest. I'm just demonstrating, just popping that weight down a second. We're going to work the back of the arms, so the triceps, the old bingo wings, okay? So, very gently, we bend the elbows as if we're bringing our weights or our hands down towards the forehead, but we're not going to drop them all the way. It's just nice and controlled, 90-degree angle, and then straighten up. So again, we're inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhale, exhale, So taking your time, again, making sure your wrists start flopping, dropping, rolling. Just really nice and steady, fluid movement. So let's have 2 more. Working into the old bingo wings. And then gently bring it back. Place them down just beside you. Let's just take our hands together above, just as if we're trying to pull the shoulder blades away from one another on the mat. Very gently, let them relax down. Take your right arm across your body and let your arm come in between, the hand come in between, or the forearm in between the elbow and the wrist, okay? So never on the joint. We never should be putting pressure on a joint. In between, or you could be holding on the back of the upper arm. Let's just do that with the other side. And then relax, shake them out. So I want us to stretch out our hamstrings. I'm just moving back onto my back before we go on to our pelvic bridge. So I've got a strap handy to assist. If you've got a band or a pair of tights you can use, or a dressing gown belt, that's absolutely fine. Take that round the foot, straighten it out as best as you can. Remember, it's not about getting that leg on the chest. We want to be stretching the hamstring, so we're trying to straighten that leg as much as possible. That might mean you need to take it further away from that body, and that's absolutely fine. Now, if you've got lower back issues, I would say keep that supporting leg bent. Otherwise, you can straighten that leg out. I'm going to keep it bent because I find it just eases the pressure on my lower back. So I'm gently drawing this leg towards my upper body. And I want to be feeling that stretch into the hamstrings on the back of the thighs. Again, my eyes are looking up. I'm not looking behind, I'm not looking in front. But if I was, I could nod or lift my chin to adjust where my eye alignment is. I take a deep breath in. As I exhale, I try and draw it a little bit closer and just hold. Just hold. And again, take a deep breath. Exhale, hold. Now let's bend the knee into the chest, slip the strap off, take your foot, take it around the arch of the foot, straighten that leg out, and again, you can straighten this leg out if you wish, or we can straighten this leg out. It can be away from the body. We need to have the knee so it's not bent, so try if you can. If you've got really tight hamstrings, the knee might stay bent. That's okay. We just do what we can and what's possible for our body, and we're just holding it there. So nice and steady, taking a deep breath. As exhale, can we draw it a little bit further, getting a nice developmental stretch going here. So taking a deep breath, pulling that a little bit more if we can. And we just want to feel the muscle fatiguing. We don't want to be in pain. Just the fatigue. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bend that leg in. Take the cushion that you've got with you, and we're going to use our cushion in bridge today. So I want you to take your cushion in between your thighs. So as we go up into bridge, it might mean your legs are a little bit closer, depending on how fat your cushion is. You can always fold your cushion over so it's a little bit thicker if you wish. So feet at hip distance apart, hands resting on the floor just by the bum cheeks. We are tucking the tailbone up towards the ceiling, lifting and pulling everything in. Check your eye alignment. Do I need to nod or lift my chin? I want to be looking straight up. I'm going to inhale as I lift. And as I come to the top, I'm just holding it here for a moment. I want you to take a moment, put your hands on your ribs, and my ribs expanding up towards the ceiling. They're lifting. I may need to make my range a bit smaller. Is everything engaged? Am I getting cramp in my hamstrings? Do I need to move my feet further away from my bottom? And then bring it down. So very gently, we tuck to the ceiling, imprint lower back, begin to lift from the base and up. Hold for a count of 4 at the top. And then very gently bring it down from the up, mid, lower. and then repeat. So each time we get to the top, you're just holding it for a count of 4, and then we're gently bringing it down, nice and steady. So again. So taking your time, being conscious in your body, being present of how it feels, where's working. Pelvic bridge activates so many muscles as we go through the movement, as we hold in the movement, and as we bring it down. So let's have one more, and this time let's just take it up and let's just hold it up. And let's take a deep breath. Exhale, bring it down. As you bring it down, remove your cushion. Bring your feet together, knees together. Gently just sway the knees. 5 past 2, 5 to 2. Just a nice gentle sway. Just releasing into your lower back. I'm just shifting along my mat a little bit. Oh. So nice and steady. Just rolling side to side. Just release. And remember, if you're okay with your back, if you want to go further with that movement, you can do. That's your personal choice. So nice and steady. So feet come back to hip distance apart. Simple, basic crunches, okay? Hands can either be across the chest if you so wish, but if you feel comfortable for an extra challenge, using your weights or without weights, I want you to take your arms over the head. So what I want you to do is take them back as far as you can. The minute you feel, so I'll just do it with one arm. So the minute you feel you take your arm back and your rib starts lifting up, your back starts arching, that's too far. So you bring it back. So I know for me, about here is the range of movement. Any further and I'm lifting, I'm arching, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to have a nice stable core and a nice stable back. So they're not all the way back. So it's kind of like, I'd say in this time we're just checking. Just check where it feels right for you. And if you're doing it without, again, even if you're doing it without, because obviously you're having a weight in your hand can increase that kind of leverage, so that lift. Again, just put one hand on the rib and see where you feel the lift. You should notice naturally your back coming away from your mat if you're going too far. So just check that out. I'm going to pop the other one, and then very gently, all we're going to do, so I'm here, is I'm going to come up, I'm going to look down my body, and then I'm going to bring it down. So I'm going to come up, look down, and bring it back. Now, if I've got neck issues, I might just want to not lift my upper body, I might just want to do the arm movement, but that's going to change the exercise. So if I was thinking, okay, I want to do the stomach exercise, but I've just got neck issues, then just bring one knee in at 90, take it out, in and bring it down. So that's an alternative exercise if you're still wanting to work the core, but you've got a neck issue going on. Otherwise, it's arms behind, and I'm lifting. And remember, I don't have to use the weights. Looking down. I can have my hands across the chest and just be lifting and looking down. Now, as you're going through that movement, so keep going, I'm just going to be doing some talking points as we go through it. Remember that as you come up and you look down the body, what we're looking for, or what I should say is what we do not want to see is the tummy doming. So if the tummy's starting to dome and point upwards, that means we're coming up too high. So we need to make that range much smaller. So take a look as you come up, have a look what's going on. Is there a dome? If you're coming up too high, it'll start to bulge up in the middle. And we don't want that. So really, when we come up, it's just literally the top of the scapulas, the shoulder blades that are up off the floor, the neck's up off the floor, the head's up off the floor. I'm looking down my body, and then I'm coming back. So let's just do a few more of those. Last two. Last one. Bring it back, bring it down. Nice and easy. Okay, this time, feet still hip distance apart. Take your hands, take your fingers, your index fingers together so they're just resting on the pubis bone, and then the thumbs just underneath. So you've kind of got like a triangular shape with your hands just below the belly button. Lift the right leg to 90 degrees. So we've got that knee, hip alignment. We are just going for single heel dips. So we're going to do the right leg first. Then once we've done so many on this leg, we will shift over to the opposite leg. So remember, if we've got back issues, we can be going up towards the ceiling, so we've not got as big a leverage. We can be taking it out just to a slight angle, or we can be taking it all the way. It's not touching the floor, it's just above, and then back to that 90 degree. So you've got different ranges there. So straight up to the top from that position, or just out to a slight angle from that position, or we can be taking it down and in, okay? So let us go. So we breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and in, breathe out, and in, breathe out, and in, breathe out, and in. 4 more. Last 2. Last one. Bring it back, bring it down. We must do the same on the other side. So again, we could be going up towards the ceiling, we can be going at that angle, we can be going straight out, heels never touching the floor. Imagine as if you're just trying to dip your heel just in, say, a little bit of water. Nice and steady. Last 2. Last one. And relax. Again, knees together, feet together. Gently just sway. Nice and steady. Just releasing that lower back. And if you can, just draw both knees to your chest. Put your hands underneath the thighs and just give them a little hug and squeeze. You're just releasing into the lower back. Your lower back may come slightly off the floor. That's absolutely fine. Just holding it there for a moment. If you wish, give your ankles a little rotation one way and then the other way. If there's any snap, crackle, pops left to come out, which can be quite nice to get rid of. So take a deep breath. As you exhale, very gently come back down. We're going to roll onto our front. Again, just roll where you are. I'm just going to change direction so my head's at the other end, just so I can make sure the camera can see me and speak clearly. So just rolling over onto your front. Excuse me. So, one hand on top of the other, forehead resting on the mat. Let us just stretch out the quadriceps. Sorry, I've sat laid right in the sun, haven't I? So bring the foot towards the bottom. Now remember, if you can't reach the foot, that's fine. Grab the sock, the leggings, or if you've got your strap handy or a band, you can take it and just pull it towards. Once you're there, just gently hold. Let the head relax. We want both hips resting into the mat. And hold it there. Hold it there, just stretching the quadriceps to the front of the thigh, holding it there. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, gently bring it back. Do the same with the other leg. Again, ooh. Keeping both those hips pressing into the mat. Just enjoying the stretch if you can. Remember, we should never be in pain. We want to feel the muscles fatiguing as we stretch, maybe. Feeling the stretch happen, but we certainly don't want to be in pain. Let's take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gently bring it down. Hands, let's just slide them just by the side of the chest. Lift the chest. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, if you want to, just lift the arms off the floor, looking forward, shoulder blades back and down, and then gently draw the elbows back down. Let's just do that 4 more times. So inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last time. Relax. Bring the head down. Let the head just rotate to one side. Let it relax there. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let the head rotate to the opposite side. Let it rest there. Very gently bring your head back to the center. Tuck your toes under. Hands by the side. 2 options. We can roll over onto our side and push up onto the side of the bottom, or we can push, tuck the toes under, push the bum back towards the heels. So take a deep breath. As you exhale, push up. Ooh. Now, even if you came onto your side, what I want you to do is just bring your knees in and let your bum come to your heels. Let your hands just relax by your side. You may want to take your cushion for a moment. Just rest your head there in child's pose just for a moment. If you need to tip the knees a little bit wider than the hips, a little bit wider than the tummy, that's absolutely fine. Just a moment in child's pose, just to reset. Tailbone tucked under. Let us take a deep breath in. Hands by the head. Slowly push up. Now we've been on the floor for a while, so let us slowly increase our heart rate. So coming up, let us just swing our arms side by side. Bring them down. Lifting, pulling in. Which side is weaker? Left or right, right or left? Take the leg forward. Remember that back leg, toes tucked under makes it less challenging. Shoelaces to the floor makes it more challenging. So core engaged, hands by the side. And remember, if this is not a good way for you to come up, just come up in a fashion that is right for you. That's absolutely no problem. So I'm tucking my toes under, using that assist. So inhale up. Exhale down. Relax, turn to face the front, hip distance apart, sassy walk it out. So let's swing it out, swing it out. Nice and steady. And then let it relax. Walk your feet in, a little bit more. Shoulder blades back and down in those back pockets. Beefy tomato under the chin, tailbone tucked, pelvic elevator, lift in place up to the third floor, abdominals in place, core engaged, and we're nice and strong to move about. So, well done. Hopefully you found that enjoyable. Constructive feedback is always welcome. I do miss our banter and our conversations. I'm sorry sometimes if I waffle. Hope you're okay, hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.